Alright. I took a half-hour break for lunch, or breakfast, whatever that was. Meal 1. Now we're back. Let me get my shit all situated. Oh god, coffee. When last we left, Gwen, what was I doing? Actually, that's a good question. Right. Completely rethinking the main menu. I knew that part. We removed the previous main menu. We now have 2 buttons that have absolutely no useful information on them. What will take this closer to being a game? Okay, what are we doing here? Okay. I need the description. So I know I want to move towards this, but first I need an intermediary step, which is maybe just listing the available levels and letting people choose them. From a list. Right? Sure. Okay. Okay. So here's my main menu. This can no longer be a horizontal box. It needs to become a horizontal box. No, the other one. Vertical. Jesus Christ, Gwen. Okay. Vertical box. Anchored here. Temp level box. Just level box. You are a variable. Do I have to do that? I don't see you. Slot behavior is variable. Level box, there we go. Okay. So now you create this. As vertical box. Maybe I don't need to do that. Let's find out. Let's just see where we are. Okay. Sure. Next thing. Let's change those buttons to be something useful. You are now like this. This is not gonna fuck up this stuff. No. Okay, good. You are now like this. The whole image is gone. There's now little text. this variable. Rename this level name text. Hey, Cynical, what's up, man? Thanks for the bits. I appreciate it. That's a good little wake up after a quick breakfast. Alright, level number button. Why did I call it that? Oh, right. Back in the day. Okay. Level name text. Let's set text. To be. Let's get the level name and convert that to text. Let's just see if this works. You just downloaded UE4? Sweet, man. Buckle up. You're in for a ride, man. Have you made video games before? Oops. Main menu. Create all widget. Set is enabled. Set the level name. Good. Enabled. Good. Add. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now that's a little more useful. At least you can see what you're doing here. Okay. Like, it's not great, but like at least we got something here. So you're not just clicking buttons. Okay, how do we move this towards being real? When I hit the button, I'm gonna want to say what percentage done it is. Yeah. Alright, let's add a new dimension this year, Cynical. Oh, sure you can. Alright, let's put... Alright. I have no idea what the difference is between text and string. Or really even name, to be honest. Like, there's probably a reason a thing is a thing. Pent. Let's do this build string. Again, what I'm doing right now is really stupid. I just don't want to invest time into thinking about how to architect this until I know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just creating another array. I now have an array of the available sections, an array of the available levels, which is the first level in that section that you haven't completed yet, and I'm adding another array that is like the percentage completed that section is. And just because of how I'm doing it, they're all going to be the same length. And this is super kludgy and fast, but it will work. And we'll do it right once we know what we want to do. Do one of those passes where I clean things up. Text is static and localizable. Strings are mutable. Interesting. Okay. So for localization, I'm going to want to keep... Okay. I don't know what mutable means. Is it embarrassing to admit that on a stream? But, I know what localizable means. So basically anytime for anything I'm just passing around like things like the name of the level on disk can be in a string, whereas something that the name of the level that I display to the player is probably going to want to be in text, right? It means you can edit it at runtime. Oh, interesting. So if I make a text variable, I can't edit it? Oh, what am I doing right now? Right, so that stuff I just did. Create level buttons. Let's get this. This is a weird day. I started out with a completely clear image of what I was going to do on the stream, and I am not doing that. Okay, cool. So you can see this is the name of that section. We've done 0% of the drummer. If we were to... This is hella broken. Obviously. You can't see shit. Let's pretend that you can. Now you're 17% of the way through. Cool. Accordion's over here. Okay, cool. Okay. Let's... Alright, in my new world order, the thing I do with the game mode where I delete previous sections geo. We're just never going to do that. If the level is forcibly changing, unsuppress, reset the camera, destroy all levels. So this thing where I'm loading in the art backdrop, we're just gonna not do that. Gonna disconnect that. So now... Cool. Okay. Oh, hey, Chris. What's up, man? Check it out. I'm working on the actual menu. So drop in, play as the drum. This is super broken, Chris. I'm not gonna be kicking out another build for a while. This is so kludgy. Hey, Lard Teamaker, what's up, man? Alright, and we got the other Chris, where curses are in full effect. The bugs from last night. I didn't get a chance, Chris, to see your latest video. The one that you sent me. I got it this morning. I woke up, was really hungover, immediately started streaming, ate some breakfast, and continued streaming. So I haven't taken a break yet. Hey, Middle, what's up, man? But yeah, I'll look through them. I did fix the falling through the world with the drum bug you had from the day before last. That was just like I moved that level below 0. It's freezing here, Jovix. It is very cold. They basically canceled. Boston usually does all these New Year's party stuff, and they canceled all of it. Undo was super broken. Fuck. Whatever. I can always go back to the... I have the previous... I'll look into it. Thanks, Chris. Bastin. Fuck. I didn't think Undo was super broken. Were you on the combo levels, or were you on the solo levels? Yeah, we were supposed to go, Lard Teamaker, we were supposed to go skiing this coming weekend. Which is like a thing people do here, which I'm not a fan of. But, you know, socializing and stuff. So I was gonna go skiing. But it's gonna be -9 at the base of the mountain. It's a high of -9 at the base of the mountain. I'm not fucking going skiing next weekend. It's insane. I don't even like skiing. I like the thing afterwards where you, like, drink a lot of warm alcoholic beverages. And, you know, play board games. That's the good part. Alright. I like the good part. So do I want to actually do a hit test for what 3D object is under the mouse, or do I want to abstract it out? Have like a 2D button that's part of the interface. Ooh, God. This could get weird, especially if they change the field of view. Should I let them change the field of view? Detecting what's under the cursor is going to be a... There's an easier way to do this. Okay. god, you guys. Hold on, let me check up on the chat here. You would hate GDC, Chris Light. We've talked about this before. It's totally not for you. You would be bored, you'd be lonely, and you don't like the drinks and the partying. So, like, there's literally nothing there for you. It's not fun, it's not like a convention where you can like host a stage and stuff. It's a conference where people talk about how to make games. Yeah, Chovix. And I kind of want it to stay that way. Like, there's enough conventions that are for the press and for fans. GDC was kind of fun because it was meant to be a place to learn for developers, and a place for developers to talk with each other about what they're working on and stuff. I would kind of hate it if it became like a stupid marketing thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I love PAX, and I love all the marketing events, and I love the stuff that's for the fans. It's just, GDC was the one thing that was not that. And I'd hate to lose that. Anyway, what the hell are we doing here? Right, I'm gonna set if this is available. The fuck am I doing? Take completed sections array. Return section status. Update level buttons. Maybe we don't even need that. No, yeah, we do. Update section status. Take a look. Like, the dialogue box wouldn't be at GDC. It's just not something we would do there. Yeah. I love GDC, but it is not... I don't know. I don't want GDC to become another marketing thing. It's not what it's for. I hated that in AAA. That it felt cheap to me that you couldn't pitch a talk to GDC. Alright, for one thing, if you're going to go to GDC, you need to pitch the talk that you're going to give like 8 months before you give the talk. So anything you say at GDC is about a year old, regardless, right? And before you can even pitch a talk to GDC, you have to get approval from your company in AAA, which adds another layer of now you're whatever you're saying is hella old. And then you add on top of that, like EA, Activision, Take-Two, these people, they won't let you speak unless their default is to say no, because anything you say could fuck up their marketing. You could, you're speaking on behalf of the company. You're probably not trained. If you're like a run-of-the-mill programmer, even if you're like the lead programmer on BioShock Infinite, you haven't been trained to talk to the press or to talk to people, and anything you say is going to be online, and it's going to be kind of marketing, and you could fuck up their marketing message. So their default is to say no. And if you do go, they train you in marketing, and you have to show the trailer for the game you're working on, and I hate that. I actively hate that. That's why I didn't speak at GDC until I was indie. It's way more fun. And I love the mess too, Javix. Like, I love that stuff. I love the marketing, I love the pomp, and I love the stages and the Twitch personalities and all that shit. It's great, but not at GDC. That's not what it's for. God damn it. Oh hey, what's up, Danlo? Danlo, you went with Dick Gristle for your handle, bro? Cool. Sup, Dan? I am still thinking about that fucking blog post you wrote, by the way. We were talking about your tinfoil hat madness at work. I love, like, it reads like a short story. It starts out with, here's the future of animation, here's motion matching, and then it goes into, like, here's how, what is it, machine learning is gonna impact motion matching, and then it goes into full-on, like, just insanity, like, and here's how we're all gonna be replaced by robots, and I just didn't quite get from A to B to C there with you, but, yeah, that was some tinfoil hat bullshit there, man. I loved that. Like, that was a really good conversation piece at work. We loved that. I think you're right. I think there is a lot of promise in motion matching. I think it's cool. I think it's time for blend states and for blend trees to change. I don't see it in the indie space as much, though. Also, I mean, all this motion matching stuff seems to rely on a shit ton of animation data, especially mo-capped bipeds, which is the thing I'm maybe least interested in. And I think there's so much space to innovate already in a completely different direction, especially if you're going for 2D animation and stuff. So my head is just in a completely different space from you, but I love reading everything you write. You can do it with keyframe data, but the reality is motion matching only works if you have a shit ton of data. It's a fun toy for AAA. I don't think indies will. I mean, indies will use it in the same way that indies use shit off of the asset store. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, I don't know. It's not what I'm into. I think, I don't know, I was thinking about this the other day. I think the ideal animation blend tree would be one that's, I like that in Unreal you export your joint data and your animation data to an FBX, and you bring that into Unreal, and Unreal digests it and makes a U asset. I wish blend trees were like that as well. I wish we would set up blend trees in Maya. Probably something where you define a bunch of parameters at the beginning and then it exports to some sort of ASCII file. And then your engine pulls in that ASCII file and digests it. I think that would actually open things up so that you can craft different kinds of blend trees that do different kinds of things that are more specific to each game rather than some big generic system. But I mean, everything I'm saying right now supposes that you're making a game that doesn't have like a standard animation biped, idle to walk to whatever. I'm assuming maybe you have a game where your animation isn't that. I think the space that's interesting, one of the spaces that's more interesting for me would be to pursue a system that's more flexible and light like that. And what would a truly generic, bare bones animation system look like? Something that you could build on depending on the game you're doing. And I'm big on parameter-based animation as opposed to time-based animation. I think we talked about that once. I think there's still value with a smaller amount of data. It could be a good replacement for regular blending. Maybe. I think there's... yeah. I definitely think there's something wrong with the way we do certain things, like jump. I loathe this idea that you, like, have an intro to your jump and then a loop while you're falling, and then the second you hit the ground, you, like, do this smash blend from some point in your falling loop to your land animation. I think it's, I think rather than have animations switching between animations and blending them by time, I think it'd be cooler if you just took the height that you were from the ground and drove the position, the frame of your animation based on that. So you're scaling the animation rather than blending between multiple animations. That's the kind of thing I think is more interesting. Animating based on parameters rather than based on time. And manipulating, you would think of it as manipulating time, but I would say it's more like manipulating the frames of an animation. I don't know. Destiny does that. But that's just one example. It's one example of many. I think there's a lot of times when we should not be using time to progress from frame to frame through animation, but we should be using game-driven data. And that's why I think if you create a more bare-bones system where you just have parameters that drive the frame of your animation, you'll come up with something more interesting. That's one of the ideas. I'm gonna fucking do that for this game. I've actually kind of decided, like, I'm gonna use the world space position to drive the, when I eventually do animation for this, the world space position will drive the frame of the animation, and that's for many reasons. Like, if you want to change, so in the example of the jump, you could, the designer can go in at any time and change the upward velocity and the downward velocity, and it would change the play rate that the animation that you flip through the frames at, but it wouldn't break the animation. There's nothing you can do that would, unless you literally skip from one frame to another, like unless there's a skip in your input variable, there's nothing that would break your animation. Shit, did that make any sense? Sorry, Dan Lowe, I'm trying to talk about this on the fly. Sorry, Javix, let me read. You are not gonna hand edit those files. I would smash it into a bin OBJ. Sure. Yeah. I said ASCII just because that's... I always put every fucking thing in ASCII. I leave my Maya files in ASCII. Like, I dislike... I like the... As a content creator, you want to be able to drop in at any time and just, like, fix some shit. But, yeah, that's not thinking, like, a programmer, you're probably right. It would probably not be ASCII. Kind of like using the height differential to drive the parameterization of the blend jump height and time. Yeah. So, I guess I would say parameter-based animation interests me more, and the way I would think of it is I wouldn't ever call it time. I would think of it as right now what we're doing is we're progressing through frames based on, sure, time. Game tick plus arbitrary amount based on when you started the state. And I'm just saying, like, a better world would be one where you don't automatically assume you're going to progress through animations based on the delta of the game tick. One where you assume that's not the parameter, where the parameter could be anything. I 100% force every Maya pipe I have control over to use MA. Yeah, of course, yeah. I guess it depends on how flexible you want the system to be. If you want to be able to fall independently, at some point you want to switch to a loop. Sure. But what you could do is... Yes. Especially because there's going to be times if you fall and you're moving over... Like, say you fall and you move over a hill, then technically the variable that is the distance you are from the ground is going to go up and then up and down again. Crap. And I mean, like, I don't have a specific fix for everything. You're right, there are times when you're going to want to loop. I know there's going to be problems if you pursue something in this way. I just think it's a more interesting way. Because I'm bored with what we're doing with state machines. And using machine learning to blend between animations just feels like fucking, while cool, really overcomplicating a system when maybe just at a fundamental level we need to try some other shit. Like, it's really cool, Tan, and I'm excited to see what happens in AAA. It's just not what excites me right now for my personal work. GDC is gonna be a riot this year. You guys are doing some crazy shit. Yeah, Chris Light is, some Chili Dogs is linking the Discord in the chat. That is where I hang out. He's been kind enough to host a channel in his Discord for this game. So definitely check that out if you guys wanna, you know, nerd out about shit. The new systems are black boxes. They're a nightmare to debug. I bet. You're fucking using machine learning to switch between animations. I mean, it's more complicated than that. This is the dumbed down version. But basically, yeah, like a machine is choosing frames. I would love to do a podcast with you someday when your NDA is over, which will be never, about wildly speculating on what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. Because you understand what's going on under the hood. And I was making some wild guesses, like it looks like this is an animation playing backwards and this and that, but you might actually know why. I'm actually, like, I'm not upset that you can't get Frostbite unless you're at EA, but I think that's a misstep. I think Frostbite could be competitive in the marketplace. Maybe it can't. I don't know. But I wish fucking... I want to check out Frostbite, goddammit. I'm sorry, Nordal. I didn't mean to distract you, man. The last thing I want to do is be a negative influence in the world. There's a lot to consider when you take your internal tools to market. Absolutely. I mean, at some point you become more of a person that makes tools, but I would argue, in this day and age, when absolutely everybody wants to be a game developer, positioning your company to be one that capitalizes on that is not a stupid decision. And I think EA, of all people, have the fucking resources. They're already putting resources into this engine that they're using across multiple projects. And yeah, making it external is gonna stretch their team, but I mean, they're EA. No, Nordal. Dan Lowe is an old friend of mine that happens to work a lot in Frostbite. And he's one of the... There's not many tech animators in the world, but he's one of the best. In my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Lowe. There's not many of us, and we all know each other. Also, I'm still a little blown away that you went with Dick Gristle for your handle here, Dan. It's fine. God, I think I still have, like, my Steam handle is still something I chose when I was an early adopter to Steam. It must have been high school. That's why it's very embarrassing. I don't friend anybody on Steam, so I can't figure out how to change it. So are you advocating EA to clean more money from people because they want to bring their dream to life? But EA being EA, it will be nothing more than a rape of the wallet fest. I don't know if I have such a negative view here. I think Epic is doing very, very well. I'm a fan of the Unreal Engine. I'm a huge fan of the Unreal Engine. I'm a huge fan of Epic. I want them to continue doing well. I want to kind of position myself, you know, in such a way where... Like, I would love to have friends at Epic. That would be great. I can't help but look at that and think, shit, EA has an engine that is pretty fucking powerful. And making games is stressful, and high risk. And they could take that engine and they could license it in a similar way to what Unreal does. And potentially have another revenue stream. And that would be cool. But I suppose they could make an argument that their engine is a competitive advantage. Perhaps it is. Especially if they do manage to make this animation tech, which is like superior to everything else because they're leaning hard into motion matching and stuff like that. It's possible that they will have an engine that has special secret sauce and that by keeping the code close to their chest, they can protect that. I think that's awfully short-sighted because people move. The engineers that wrote that are going to move somewhere else and they're going to write it again. I think they should just capitalize what they got. But I am not the CEO of fucking EA, so... And it's fun to wax philosophical on what other people should do, but I don't have the full view of what they're thinking and what their strategy is. On Steam you can change your display time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I changed my display to Dire Goldfish, but when I log in it's still Impish Eyes, which is a bit weird. Girth Sirloin. Well, you know, one of my favorite concept artists has a side project where he just draws robots that are in the shape of a dick. Like various phallic robots for like no reason. Not robots like I'm doing here, robots like giant, like Japanese mechs. Very well, like high detailed robots that are just also phallic. But he's also a phenomenal concept artist with a great range. This is just like what he does in his free time. So you know what, man? Whatever. I don't judge. You can be Dick Gristle, First Manhood, Girth Sirloin, etc. That's hilarious, actually. That would be a funny... That's something. Epic's engineering team for UE4 is almost 100% gone. What do you mean? Epic employs a shit ton of programmers, so I don't think that's true. I'm curious what you meant by that. Sometimes you wonder about id Tech. Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I don't follow these things closely, but Carmack's working in VR now, right? I don't know what id Tech is up to. I think the way EA looks at it, there's no amount of revenue the Frostbite engine could generate that they couldn't more than compensate for with the application of just a few more loot box microtransactions. Maybe. I don't know if EA looks at it like that. I don't know how EA looks at things. I know that right now the narrative is, holy shit, there's too many games. What the hell are we gonna do? There's too many games. Basically that, and then people kind of come up with their own solutions around that. But I think something I loved, I've actually said this in the podcast, is like, if you organize your business around the idea that everybody wants to make games now, let's make tools for gamers. Let's make the Unreal Engine. Let's make different engines and different assets and things like that for people who want to be game developers. Basically, I think people want to make shit, so sell the ability for people to make shit. Sell the paintbrushes, not paintings. If everybody wants to paint, sell paintbrushes. And some of this is like, I make the shit I want to make, so whatever, I'm not one to judge. But if you're EA, Jesus, you should probably think about what's best for the business. And I think, Media Molecule, I think, is leaning heavily into making things for creators. I think they kind of, like, are thinking along the same lines. Oh shit, let me scroll up. Oh my god, this is good. We're having a fun chat. You want to delete your identity, you can always just... Oh, okay. Thanks, Chris. I think the EA looks at it... Oh, oops. I want to look under the hood of Bethesda id Tech 5 engine. I don't know anything about it. id Tech. Last time, they were always pushing in directions that didn't interest me, personally, because maybe we all have our interests, and I'm just not... I don't give a shit about texturing. Clearly, look at the game I'm making. Like, I just don't give a shit about environment art and texturing. I love it when it's good, but it's not what I want to do, and it's not something that interests me. The real advantage of EA Tech is the culture of sharing between teams. If FIFA makes some awesome anim tech, which they do, it gets passed back to the main engine and everyone gets to use it. Yeah, that's also the advantage of having a shared engine. I mean, that'll never go away. If EA opens up Frostbite, they'll get that on an even grander scale, because people out in the world will be making shit with their games. How do I put this? Like, of course Epic over the years has seen things that people do with their engine, seen the code, gotten ideas, and like rolled that into their engine, which helps them make their own games better. And I know Epic is weird because they're a company that's almost kind of confused between whether they want their product is their games or their product is their engine. But in a way I think that's powerful because they can pivot in either direction. Where am I going with this? I mean, having what you just described gets even better when you have more people using the engine, right? There's an overhead to making a public engine. The code has to be super clean, the engine has to be super bug-free, everything has to be really well documented. I don't know, did you see? Like, UE4 is good, man, but there was a time when everything in this is an actor. Everything in this engine is an actor, and there was a time when every actor had a swimming flag on it. So that, like, there was a bool you would flip to say if a tree was swimming or not. Like, this engine wasn't always flawless. Sorry. I love this engine. Yeah, make it... Gotta start somewhere. Look, I'm selfish and I want fucking Frostbite. Alright, Tan. Let's see it. I'm a game dev student. Should I get a PC for developing for college? My laptop is running pretty poorly. There's too many variables there. I don't know how much money you have. I don't know if your college has a lab or not. Carmack works for Oculus. Sorry guys, I'm still catching up. Most are not focused on the engine. Javix, if you're making a game with an engine, you're improving the engine, whether you realize it or not. Like, you're always pushing the tech. Well, pushing the tech in some direction. I will say I'm not quite sure what Epic's goals are either. Like, they seem to be, when you look at what they showcase, they seem to be showcasing a lot of interesting people who are using their tech for film and shit like that. They seem to be pushing into emerging markets. I mean, what interests me here is even beyond this. Like, I think what Epic is doing there is smart too, because I think it's a good time to have a strong tech framework in 3D. I think we're gonna move towards a world where interfaces are in 3D, especially with AR and VR coming up. I think the way we look at, if you look at what VR and AR are doing right now, they're imagining things as they are just in VR. It's like if you look at images from the World's Fair, from what people thought the future would be in 50 or 100 years, and you look at what they were saying back in the turn of the, like the 1900s and shit. Like, if you look at what people thought would happen, they knew people would fly, and they were drawing things like flying machines where people had wings that were made of wood and shit. And I feel like that's where we are right now with our understanding of AR and VR. We were thinking like, oh, you're gonna have AR and VR, so you'll take like a 2D screen and you'll put it on the wall, and that's stupid. Like, you have a device that lets you put things in 3D, so obviously, well, I believe that whatever we invent will be like a 3D thing. Like, I think the whole concept of a keyboard should go away. I think there should be a 3D interface, like a new thing that is a keyboard, a new input device, something that is in 3D that we haven't quite figured out yet. I suspect the internet as we know it, as this thing that is a 2D thing, will change. I think 3D is going to be the future in a huge way. We all kind of know that, but we don't really know how or why yet. And so I think having a company like Epic that's flexible, that's got this groundwork of making shit in 3D, like video games and shit, and that's pushing into AR and VR and film and all these different things and isn't quite sure what they're doing yet, but is doing a lot of everything, is really smart. I'm really excited for the future. I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen, but I think it's cool. Okay, isn't EA publicly traded, open sourcing their engine and be a board decision or something? It's not so much open sourcing it as selling it, though, if you think about it. Anytime somebody makes something with the Unreal Engine, Epic gets a cut. Like, they're not... PUBG is bankrolling some Lamborghinis, right? It's too much overhead. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry, we have a lab, but I love making games and I want to make them on my own time. That's hard, Katie. There's like... if you have the money to buy a computer and you would use it to learn, then I would buy a computer. But, I can't, like, give you much more guidance than that. I would, but that's because I can't imagine living without a PC, personally. Because I've always... You know, it's high dev. Well, if they can share their engine between their own studios, why open source it if you can keep it between your own studios? Sorry. I'm reading this out of order. I don't know enough about how EA is run. Interacting with a real virtual world with a joystick is, like you said, 21st century. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we don't even know what we don't know yet about interacting in 3D with AR and VR. We are too set in a path and an understanding. We're still thinking about things with wood because we haven't invented plastic yet, you know? Like, maybe this is the last generation that knows how to use a keyboard. Maybe, like, who the fuck came up with a typewriter? I mean, I know the logic behind how it happened, but where did that come from? And who's gonna be the person that invents that for VR, AR, and all that shit? That's exciting. That's the next fucking Bill Gates. That kid. I have this dream that, like, we have another one of those bubbles, like the early times of the internet, but instead it's in 3D. Like, how much will the world have to change if interfaces and the way we approach technology and information, if our internet became 3D? How much would that change things? I think it'd be cool. And I don't think it's impossible, or even super unlikely. Anyway, now I'm the one fucking tinfoil hatting. Sorry, Dan. Like how Dan's tinfoil hatting is super negative too. He's like, soon, machine learning will take over the goddamn world. It's called VR chat. I'll have to check it out. Maybe. The real question here, Dan, though, is when I've posed to you before, that if you think machine learning is this terrifying thing that's going to take over the world and destroy all of us and all of our jobs, then why are you doing it? And how do you expect me to be friends with you, man? If you honestly believe that what you're doing is taking away our jobs and ruining, society or whatever, there's no more animation, then why are you actively being a negative force in the world? Leonard. Fair enough. I'm not afraid of machine learning. I think it'll... all of this stuff will just... Oh god. The world is about to shrink. I think soon we'll be a truly global economy. I think... I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts. It's a good question, but then it's kind of like saying, why do we drive cars when we could still be walking or riding horses? Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, the act of inventing cars didn't take away the jobs of... I guess it took away horses' jobs. But it didn't take away... It took away the jobs of the people who built wagons, but then they just became people who built cars. Like, technology moves forward and the jobs change. They don't go away necessarily. Right? That's why I'm not really afraid of machine learning or anything. All this stuff just opens doors and makes it easy. It changes what the field is. It's all good. I have an art div question for you. I have a bunch of photo scans of rocks I made. Would it be best if I retopo them with quad topology, or should I just run a decimation master on them a few times with the poly count down and be done with it? It totally depends. I mean, I usually worry about keeping things quad if I want to skin them and animate them. That makes the animation, like, it just makes the skinning process way easier. But if it's a static mesh, I don't think it fucking matters. I would just do whatever gets you reduces your poly count as quickly as possible. Gravity affects time. Time is not a force. What? Did I say something stupid? It's likely I said something stupid. Wait, no, that was Plenard. What? It does. But I mean, I hear the other side of that too, Chris Lum, which is, like, we're in America, a lot of the jobs that used to be stable and secure are gone, and people are stuck, unable to adapt. I mean, saying just adapt is also kind of cold. I think we're at a time of great change, and great change is good and bad. It has opportunity, but people always get left behind, and to be fair, I don't think America is the right place to be for a lot of this stuff. I think we're about to enter a truly global economy, especially if being connected, like if you can put on a headset and be sitting across the room from somebody on the other side of the world, then being in America, the most expensive country in the fucking world, isn't super beneficial. Especially when you can be in, like, a sweet island in the Caribbean or something. Or an island where tax incentives are better, or, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I'm excited for it, but there's definitely some great changes coming, in my opinion. Yeah, no problem, Indie Respawn. Oh shit, sorry, Dick Gristle. Tianlo. In the past, yes, people moved on to other tasks. The issue with machine learning is that it's doing cognitive tasks, which is really the last bastion for things that humans are good at that machines are not. Perhaps. People will always want something. I don't know. Sebastian, computers can't procreate. Yeah. Well, VR's making some strides in that, Jovix. Danlo's argument is that eventually we all just become prostitutes, apparently. This is going on YouTube forever, Danlo. You're now quoted saying that, so that's what you get for dropping in my stream. You're welcome. That's not what he actually said, YouTube. I'm sorry. Okay. Jesus Christ, Plenard, you're going into some maniac shit here. Nordal says, isn't machine learning itself not procreating? Like evolution evolving itself, making itself better? I guess humans created it, so it could be I don't know. That's some... I need some beers to think about that one. Sadly, though, for machine learning, we are very long away from actual machine learning. As it is, anything considered machine learning is very specifically made and requires a massive number of iterations for the computer to figure anything out. Even then, it only figures out what it was made to figure out. Yeah, when we get machine learning to a place where it has desires that we didn't program into it, that change in ways we don't expect. Well, I'm not the one to define this. All I know is I'm not afraid, I'm excited. I think the future's exciting. And intense. And there's going to be a lot of changes. Well, that was a huge aside. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Jovic says people even calling it machine learning and AI at this point are using previous century ideas and concepts. They're wrong, applying it to what we already have. This is not AI, and only a crude version of machine learning, as it is not learning on its own. There is zero intelligence here except for the code designed to run in the first place. Yeah. Oh god, here we go. There are some arguments that the fact that something was created by a human adds value to it. Like, you can buy a table that was manufactured on a production line, or you can buy a table that someone hand carved from like a special tree that they planted when they were a kid. A lot of people would say that the second table has more value. So even if machine learning can do something better, there may still be people that want something human made. I hope so. Perhaps. I mean, some of the best ideas come from crazy people. Finish the game before machines take over our rooftops, die goldfish. Hey, the rooftops are the one things I wouldn't mind if they take over. It's fucking cold. They can have the rooftops. They can shovel the snow off the roofs so that our apartments don't cave in. Let the machines do the work and we get basic income. That's a nice stream. What is the end goal of society? To be able to hit a button and feel joy and never work? What is work and what is fun? I love what I do every day. No. I have no answers, only questions. We'll probably not be able to understand which is human and which is machine in the long run. Maybe someday. The brain is pretty weird and we have astonishingly not as much knowledge of it as we should. Just in general, like, we actually don't understand that much about how the human brain works. I've run into a person I was very close to had to go through brain surgery. So I found out firsthand just like how much of it is guess and check, or like what sometimes shit just goes wrong here, and just there's an alarming amount we do not know about the human brain. Work is the sacrifice and blood of the sun god. Turn-based puzzle. Happy New Year, SM Blade. Alright, Devrod, I see you follow Elon Musk. Hey, Jovix. Oh my god, what is going on? Yeah. It's true that you need to adapt. I'm getting pinged about this conversation in multiple places. This is getting weird, guys. I don't have a good brain. I can't do this. Complete the asset pack I'm working on. Almost done uploading it to the UE4 marketplace. Congratulations, SM Blade. Way to get shit done rather than talk about machine learning on Twitch. You have the right idea. Way to do the new year right. Some problems are going to be solved with machine learning really quickly. Other stuff is going to take a really long time. There will still be lots of jobs and things that machine learning can't do well. Like keyframe animation. Sure. I mean, if you want to take this back to animation, I just don't think, Okay, so you can create a skeleton and you can put muscles on it and you can feed some basic locomotion into a machine, and then you can say, okay, based on this, take this and figure out what would happen if this muscle was hurt? How would it walk differently? Or how would it, here's a couple jumps, find a jump that makes sense for muscles that are like this, or if like this force was applied at this point, and things like that, and you can kind of like randomly tweak variables and get a shit ton of different animations out of that, but that's still going to take a lot of time, and you're still manipulating input variables in order to get a result. You're still, somebody there is still saying, try applying a force here, try applying a force there, and then somebody's probably also saying at the end, okay, that looks good, oh, that doesn't look good, and calling the results. So yeah, for a long, tuning this insane system is going to take a shit ton of work. I don't know if that's even what you were talking about, but using machine learning to come up with animation is something I think will kind of maybe happen, but it'll just mean that we're manipulating different variables rather than laying down keys. Okay. I know machine learning isn't even that at all, right? Or what you're motion matching, what you guys are doing, I've just conflated two conversations. Motion matching, the stuff you guys are doing, is not that. Motion matching is figuring out which animations to blend to and how to blend to them based on like a large library of animations and tags and things. Yes. And figuring out when to, it's, motion matching is more of an alternative to state machines rather than a way of authoring animations. I just don't want to live in a world where we mocap camels and shit, man. Or maybe I do, that's fine. I just don't want to work on games that involve large amounts of mocap. You can't... Machine learning isn't going to help make Cuphead. Cuphead is brilliant and beautiful and cool and throwback. Games like Cuphead aren't going to need things like motion matching. I'm not stressed out about this at all. I'm actually really excited about all of this. It's just not what interests me personally, for my personal work. I'm super interested in it and in what other people do with it. The same thing with VR and AR. I don't want to work in AR and VR, but I'm excited, and I love talking to people that do want to work in it, because I think it's cool. Yeah, I think facial capture stuff, especially considering like facial capture is becoming so mainstream, it's in your fucking iPhone. There's a lot of stuff that can be cool there. I feel like I'm really letting Dan Lowe down because he definitely explained motion matching much better than I did. You guys should go watch the YouTube videos on motion matching stuff. Yeah, I think we're already there, Jovix. In fact, I'm surprised it's taking as long as it is. I'm amazed there isn't a universal fucking biped rig at this point. For games, specifically. Like, it's weird to me that each studio makes their own kind of tools and tech. I say this as somebody who, like, I wrote my auto rigger ages ago, and I'll use it forever. But, like, I'm surprised there isn't a universal solution that's more readily available and is considered the standard. Yeah, soon all you have to do is take a video of a camel and get instant locomotion. I have no beef with people who want to make realism and have an easier time and better tools to make realism. I just don't think it's cool. I think Cuphead is cool. I would want to be somebody who works on something different. That's just where my headspace is right now. I have immense respect for people who do, like, the sheer amount of physicality and effort that goes into making something like FIFA is amazing. I don't even really understand it. All the just the nuance and the effort that goes into doing something like that. And the tech that goes into capturing a performance of an actor that's acting out something like like a Naughty Dog game, capturing the face and the body at the same time, and all the mocap work that goes into that, and to truly capture the audio and the performance all in one go, things like that are super cool. There's a lot of things people are doing that are just like groundbreaking, but it just doesn't interest me personally. It's not what I'm personally excited about. That doesn't mean it's not incredible and groundbreaking. And manipulating muscles and forces and... Sorry, that conversation was a totally different conversation I had with Ian about animation stuff. We want like a crazy programmer to describe the ideal animation system. Oh wait. What wall of text? Dan I didn't see anything. Did you somehow hit some sort of character limit in Twitch? That's new. Oh god. Yeah. Side note, Chris, I, like, simultaneously wish there was more games like Dishonored, but still haven't played Dishonored 2, so I am the problem. But to be fair, I don't have time to play any games, so... Motion matching is about picking the best frame from an existing data in memory. Machine learning is about generating those frames. It's like you have an animation and you play a bunch of frames of that animation and then say to the system, guess what the next frame is. It generates a bunch of random XYZ rotation values and then says, okay, check what the actual next pose is. And then it says, okay, I was this far out, automatically retune the values of the system to account for that. And you keep doing that over and over until it's really good at guessing what the next frame is. I mean, I imagine that'll get better and better over time, but it'll be like in Google when Google is trained based on what you type. Like you type in a word and then it'll guess what the next word is, and if you just keep letting it guess, it'll get weirder and weirder as time goes on. Imagine you're experiencing stuff like that with machine learning for motion matching stuff. Dude, man, you live in a different world. Best frame for existing data. I know you can't tell us. I know motion matching is huge right now for Frostbite and for Activision stuff. I'm sorry. I know motion matching is huge across the entire industry. Obviously, Ubisoft is looking into a lot of this stuff. Obviously, EA is looking into a lot of this stuff. But are people actually using machine learning for motion matching right now? Like, is that an actual... Like, was this theory? I have to go back and read your blog post. Or is there people already using machine learning in this way that you're describing? Because if this is already happening, that's pretty fucking cool. I didn't realize we were that far along. I mean, I wasn't sure where your blog post was speculation versus actually occurring at the moment. They're 100% using machine learning in CG comp space. Lots of Adobe product has this stuff. Cool. Well, I do know, like, I follow the people on Twitter who are, here's an image, you know, make it look like this painter painted it in this shape and that sort of thing. Ubisoft hired the guy that did the phase function neural network paper. Oh. Fuck, I haven't played For Honor yet. I'm supposed to evaluate that. For Honor, Call of Duty, and Gorogoa. I haven't played that one yet either. They haven't gotten... I wanted to play Gorogoa like ages ago, but I still haven't got my key for it yet. Well done, Dan Lau. Way to not break any kind of NDA. Yay, might be looking at stuff. Daniel Holden. Daniel Holden works at Ubisoft? Cool. Well, what I like here is we've taken the number of viewers in this chat and we went from, I watched all the people that are just kind of like here for a chill stream slowly leave and a totally different group of people come in. Watching the viewer numbers completely change is pretty funny. But this is good because everyone that's in the chat right now is like nerdcore. Because nothing pretty has happened on the screen in a while. I know this isn't what this stream is about, but this has been a great chat, Dan. I'm a gang member, not a nerd. You can be both. You can be part of the nerd gang. Shit, man. You learn, use machine learning in the background and let the audience viewership drive the quality score. Oh yeah, it'll be like Twitch plays the Unreal Engine. Oh god, you should. You should make a game about making a video game. Or you should make an app or something where you're making a video game and let Twitch decide. That's the other thing. Some people are really excited about how to make games and apps and shit for Twitch. That's been an ongoing conversation. This is weird. This is something that I don't know how I feel about Twitch still. I think it's cool. I like it. I don't have a fully formed thought here. This is a weird way to interact. Oh god, how am I gonna focus on work again after this? I'm doing sex and stuff. Thanks for dropping by, Danlo. Happy New Year, man. Alright, I am gonna get back to work for a bit here at least. We'll continue pretending that this stream is about me getting work done. You guys are free to talk about machine learning in the chat. Because it's interesting, that's for damn sure. We live in interesting times. Okay. God, I was right in the middle of shit when we did that. Now my brain is... I don't remember the ways in which I broke everything. Gwen is showing us how to give people eye bleed when doing... Thanks, Joex. Jeez. Oh, sure. TKGS. It's gonna be hard for me to explain this because everything is insanely broken. But you know what I could do is play a previous build. So, Kind is a 3D puzzle game about a series of about 3 robots that are, sorry, about 3 little machines that dream of being musicians, so they practice music at night. And you kind of move around throughout this world. There's a pianist. The game gets harder as you go on. The puzzles get more and more challenging. The game is still very much in development. It's very raw. But here's some more examples. Basically, you can undo, redo. And your goal is to kind of make it big. You're 3 musicians looking to meet each other and get your big break. It's a narrative 3D puzzle game. What I'm doing today is I'm completely reworking the kind of overworld, so everything's obviously insanely broken. Refresh. So far I've gotten all the little puzzles figured out. I got all the kind of fragments of levels figured out. And I've been playtesting that so far. And what I'm doing now is, if I can get this to compile, I'm stitching together the overworld. So like, when you go in to play the game, you can kind of zoom in, play for a bit, get bored with a puzzle, or stuck, or die too much, get frustrated, zoom out, try a different character. But obviously, like, I've just started stitching this together, so this is insanely busted. And there's a lot I just haven't figured out here yet. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it. So yeah, this is a personal project. It's entirely done in Blueprint. I work on it on the weekends and in my free time. Which is kind of like why it's a game about a bunch of machines that dream about being musicians, so they practice at night. This is sort of my baby. Glad you guys like it. Cause it's hella broken right now. Starting off the new year with some deep cuts here. And I gotta get it back to a state where, like, I spent most of December getting it, fixing all the bugs and getting it to a state where I could send it out and people could play through the, well, I had a couple of friends play through each of the level fragments to make sure that the pacing was right and that the levels were challenging and that, you know, just trying to get it so that it gets harder over time. Like, this is stuff I've shown before, so I don't feel bad showing you this kind of stuff. Like, the game gets quite a bit harder and you've got to use them together. You've got to figure out how to, like, move each other around. It actually gets to be a little bit great. Yeah, this is all done by hand. Been working on this for a bit. Entirely in Blueprint, not a single line of code. This is a 3D puzzle game. I'm thinking about actually going for it with Kind. but you can't register a trademark until you are selling a product. And also I'm broke, and it's gonna cost like $1,000. So I kind of gotta figure out that at some point. I'll probably shop it around at GDC under the title 3D Puzzle Game and see if I can get some finishing funds or something. How long have I been working on this? I've answered that before. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest. I started streaming it in October. I sent around the pitch video to some friends, like, do you think this would be cool in September? Back then, I guess that's kind of when I started it. I'll show you the pitch video. You have to keep in mind too, I'm not working on this full time, so it gets done in fits and bursts when I have time. This is what it was September 1st. It was a completely different game then too, actually. I hadn't unlocked the camera yet. I didn't know what the robots were going to be yet. I didn't know they were going to be... Everything was kind of just way uglier. I even made some of this shit. Actually, I think this was the video I pitched with. Hold on. Let me turn on the... I say pitch. This is the video I sent to, like, 2 of my friends. I said, I want to do this. Stop me now, or forever hold your peace. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. That was a lot louder than I expected. What are you saying? Do the individual... Yeah, of course. Their names are Euler Gimbal... Or, I'm sorry, their names are Euler Quat. And, I changed one of their names recently. For narrative reasons. Basis is gonna be a different character that lives under the world and holds the world together. He's a base. You don't get to meet Basis. You'll meet Basis in the sequel. But yeah. What was it? Oh, it's Euler, Quat, and Rue. For very important reasons. It makes perfect sense, trust me. Didn't know you worked on that. I'm glad you like the GDC talk, Nordal. It was definitely fun. Shit, I have to write the GDC talk. Oh god, when is that due? I have to have an outline for a new one in 6 days. Okay. Well, that'll probably get done. Yeah, I'm doing another micro talk at GDC this year. Pretty jazzed about it. The topic is super depressing, so we'll see how that goes, because I usually do the funny talk. Anyway, I think another goal for January should be probably, once I get all of this to a state where it's not broken again, maybe I should start making GIFs and stuff and doing proper, you know, marketing and shit. That stuff you're supposed to do if you're indie. Screenshot Saturday and such. Probably start doing that around February. So I need to have a pretty good idea of what the game looks like by the end of January. Yeah, we'll see. Work might get busy. That's true. Just for the GDC talk, we'll just get up on stage and soapbox about machine learning for 5 minutes. People will be like, what is that? That had nothing to do with anything. Why are the animators talking about machine learning? They have no idea what they're talking about. I didn't know Ubisoft hired like a machine learning specialist though. That is kind of cool. What am I doing? Okay. Did I go to school for animation? Actually, yeah, kinda. I went to a school called RIT. It's a really sweet tech school. It has one of the best software engineering programs in the country. And obviously, I was a real princess, so I went to the film school. And I majored, I went to the film school. I knew I wanted to do animation. It was a school of film and animation. And I realized about halfway through I wanted to do 3D, and I kind of worked with my advisor to make a 3D animation degree. At the time, the film school was having such trouble getting people employed. I mean, you have to keep in mind, people go to film school because they want to, like, make films for film festivals and shit, right? Which is great, but RIT wasn't fond of that because these kids are coming in and they're leaving with these degrees and they're not getting jobs, which hurts their stats. So RIT would put pressure on the School of Film and Animation, and then you get all this academic drama. And they were basically desperate to have a couple of kids from the School of Film and Animation get jobs, so they were pretty willing to let me do some pretty crazy shit, like invent a degree, leave 6 months early, and just give me a degree anyway, whatever it took, so that it looked like their graduates get jobs. So I definitely, I was not the best student. I was probably squandered my youth a bit there, but I was pretty lucky that panned out. I went to RIT because, you know, I got a pretty good scholarship. At the time, there were so few women in tech schools that they would, it was pretty easy to get a scholarship if you were a chick to go to a tech school. But I didn't actually want to do comp sci, so I went to RIT, but the School of Film and Animation in RIT. Everyone in the crowd starts getting paranoia because of your GDC talk about machine learning. I'm positive about this stuff, man. I don't think it's gonna take over our jobs and our lives. And yeah, Rochester, New York. It was terrible. That was a frigid hellscape. The lake effect snow was no joke there, man. Assembly, did you finish your, Yeah, man! Yeah! You did it! Oh my god. I want to see the break. This isn't fair. Link the actual page. I want to look at your screenshots, man. This is fun because this is like the reverse of what you're going through. I got to see this when it was a gray box, and then I got to see it now when it's done. Okay. See, we're all sharing in this chat. This is all positive here. Oh god, what am I doing here? I think I've, like, been randomized so much for this stream that I might give up. Go to the gym, take a break, come back in like 2 hours, and then try again. Because I've completely lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was doing. And, I don't know how to get back to that place where I know what I was doing. I think I no longer need this. Okay, so I'm no longer doing this. just, yeah. Okay. Legacy. This no longer does anything if I'm right. This is hella broken. Shh! Don't give it away. Yeah, it's Euler. And it's roof spelled like this. It's not really a math joke, it's an animator joke. It's not a joke, it's very serious. Guys, this is a serious game. Oh, Assembly, show me what you got, man. Yeah, man. Let me see the breakdown of the modular pieces. There it is. Okay. Cool, man. Let me know how this goes. I mean, you did this for the learning experience more than the money, right? So I'm reading through a press kit. I like everything but this image. I think you have this stylized look going on for these buildings, but especially this, the way the lighting is falling on that, it looks plasticky. You're losing your kind of stylized look here. I would look into the materials and maybe remove whatever is making this shine, or if you're not gonna like have a texture for the shine or some kind of normal map or something, just because like you have this beautiful stylized painted look and you're kind of losing it, I think, arguably here with this this kind of like basic shading thing you got going on. Like I love your shots here, which this is Marmoset, right? If you're gonna show stuff in Engine too, most of the stuff you're showing in Engine looks still flat shaded for the most part, which is good. I think this should look flat shaded. I just think you got a weird speck going on here. Yeah, your Marmoset shots look good. Cool, man. Very cool. If I get one download, I'd be over the moon. Aww. I hope it does well, man. Nordal, I don't know if you said that as a joke or not. This is the correct time to ask that question. That is a task that can be measured in hours, I suppose. Oh shit. Okay. Alright. I've been randomized too much. I need to get this cleaned up enough that I can at least save it and back it up. Because I can't just break everything and then take off here. So, what are we gonna do? Okay. HUD. Main menu. Right, yeah. Okay. I will be deleting this. The goal is to get to a place where I can delete this function because I'm not using it anymore. In order to do that... Ugh. Okay. What I'm doing here is gross, but we're just gonna do it. According to... This is really gross. That's already gone. I think I don't need these arrays anymore, right? Because I just... Okay, I need the completed section array. But I don't think I need these arrays anymore. Okay. Right, okay. These can go. guess these all unlock the same thing. Okay. Don't have buttons for you yet. Change this so that basically something I want to do is make it so that like so here's the December build, and some of the feedback I got back last week was like, this part is really hard and it's stopping people, and some of this is hard. Basically, the game is a bit too linear, and so what I want to do is make it so that you can, rather than this requiring you to unlock all 3 of these, I want to make it so that this unlocks basically as soon as you've got these 3 done, or maybe even just this one. I want to make more things available sooner, and if you want to just fucking breeze through the game, you can get away with just doing the easiest levels and then the finale levels. If you do that, it'll be like maybe a 3-hour experience, and it'll be kind of easy, but some people just want the narrative. And that'll let me keep this stuff kind of hard, because it won't be required. Not everybody wants this challenge. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I love it, but, you know, whatever. So, I think in the end we're just going to require trombone 2. No, actually. Maybe this should be if you do any of the combos. Is that what I was thinking? Yeah. If you do any combo level, you can progress the story. Well, maybe... Yeah. You need to do one fucking combo level, guys. Come on. I'll reevaluate that later. We'll see how people like it. actually have buttons for any of these yet. But I can now delete all this and this. Basically this. I don't think I need these anymore. Where are you used? This is gone. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, is anything extraordinarily broken? I don't have an opening. Let's make an opening button. Why can't I see you? That's so weird. Where are you? just have to add it like that. I think everybody's pooped, Nordle, from the conversation from earlier. It's a rough day, man. Everyone's gotta hold it together however they can. These will not all be visible at the same time. And it feels like I'm placing them arbitrarily, but I'm actually not. This kind of corresponds to where the levels will pop out of in the world map. And I think I have some ideas for how I want the... I think I might know how I want this to look eventually. So I'm kind of moving a bit towards that. Oh, we'll see. Though I do have a problem where these last couple levels are kind of stacked on top of each other. Actually, start here. I'll admit I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get this last bit to work. Eventually. Doesn't really matter for now. For now I can just kind of throw these down arbitrarily. Wait a minute. Center. Okay. What the hell is this? let's step through this because I have no idea which button's broken. Maybe I can make them crazy colors. Wait, why'd that work for you guys, not you? Oh. None of you. Aqua button. DAO2. Alrighty. Section is unlocked. Jesus. I'm dumb. Where were you? Main menu. This is the wrong variable. DAO2. So now we need to initialize the very first section to be unlocked. Which I feel like should just happen. Let's find out why it's not. Okay, we're looking at the opening level. This is true. This section is unlocked. So if you should be unlocked, or if I'm forcibly unlocking the section, make it available. Oh shit, sorry guys, I missed this. Oh, hey Nier. Right there, I thought I missed a bunch of people. Life's good, man. Happy New Year. Happy 2018. This isn't ideal, because I don't want it to show up if you've completed it. can't I click on anything? That's not ideal. You're amazed I'm still streaming? Why? I'm getting it out of the way early, man. I'm hungover. I'm gonna be chilling the rest of the day. I've got a lot of video games I still need to play for the DICE Awards. I think I'm down to like 4. But we're supposed to be repping on that this week. And I don't have a super ton of time. And I want to put like at least an hour into each game. I will say one that surprised me was Circles. Not because I think it's up for any animation award, just because like they need to invent an award for that. That was cool. It's like the UI UX in Circles was surprisingly good. Like there should be some sort of pat on the back award for somebody who's like really dedicated to their UI. Everything from the second you boot up Circles. Here, I might still have it installed. I'm gonna show you guys this. Because it's kind of... It's the dumbest thing in the world to be impressed by. But I was kind of impressed by that. Let me see. We're supposed to wrap up, I guess we're allowed to give input on Game of the Year stuff too. But we didn't, I'm missing a couple of keys still. Which feels kind of like bullshit. This is how Circles starts. It's a circle. And then it expands. And the audio on this is phenomenal. It literally just is like excellence in UI and UX. It's excellent UI UX. Just, it's clearly somebody who knows their shit about UI playing and having a great time and doing a great job with it. I won't say it's like the best game in the world. I only played it for like 20 minutes, but it was cool. Good UI, bro. I'm into it. That was a fun one to find out about. Anyway. I'm getting somewhere here, guys, but unfortunately, everything is disabled when I start up. Why is that? Why can I no longer click a button? Main menu. So... Did you used to get called? Net UI screens. Alright, something is disabling you. I assume. Let's add a checkpoint here to verify. Sorry, breakpoint. Add breakpoint. Nothing's disabling you. My buttons just don't work for no reason. Okay. This is never getting hit. This is new. You're enabled. Okay. Seriously? Enable UIs getting hit. Okay. That shouldn't matter. I wonder if I can actually look at like... Yeah, you're set to be disabled. Oh, the black box. That doesn't matter. The crazy thing is this is disabled now. I just can't think of why that would be. What the shit? Like, I don't know if this actually works, but obviously not. This is not updating. You claim you're never getting hit. Oh, hit test invisible. Well, that'd do it. Gotcha. Okay. cool. Okay. Alright, that's busted. Alright, save everything we can. Hey PB Gamer. I am working on a narrative 3D puzzle game. I call it 3D puzzle game. I also call it Kine. It is a game about 3 little machines that dream about being musicians. And so they practice making music at night. So far, I spent the last couple months prototyping all of the little sections of the game that you're gonna have to go through. And I've made a build in December and sent that out to some friends. So they're like going through that and checking the progress. Like making sure that the puzzles get harder and harder as you go on, and that sort of thing. And today I completely broke the game in an attempt to stitch the world together. I think I'm going to spend the next probably like week or so fixing things up so that all the little nooks and crannies work together, and this is going to take more than a week. This is going to take forever. But I'm basically going to stitch all of these little sections, all of these little puzzles together into one world. And that is what I'm working on right now. That is what I was working on, and I think I'm about to go take a break. Because it is time for me to actually go to the grocery store. Set a little alarm for 3 o'clock to do that. So I'm gonna take off again, guys. I might stream more later, or I might pick at this on my own, I'm not sure. I'm probably not gonna stream. It is New Year's. I am only human. I wouldn't mind having a day off before I go back to work tomorrow. But thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for the long chat about, machine learning. I think everybody's tuckered out, so I'm just gonna take off. Unless anybody has any questions, this is your last shot. I'll definitely see you guys again next Monday. I stream every Monday. Alright, cool. Thanks for joining me, everybody.